Now imagine having the ability to face that same situation with unwavering strength, not because you've become numb or cold, but because you've discovered something far more powerful than pain itself. That's what we're here to discover together. Not how to suppress our feelings or build walls around our hearts, but how to develop such deep inner strengths that we can remain standing tall even when the storms of life rage around us. This isn't about pretending that nothing affects us. It's about discovering how to live from a place of such profound inner peace that external circumstances lose their power over our well-being. You see, acting as if nothing hurts you isn't about denial. It's about transformation. It's about accessing a state of being where you're so deeply connected to your inner truth that external circumstances can't shake your foundation. And today, I'm going to share with you 5 transformative ways to achieve this state. Not as temporary relief, but as a permanent shift in how you experience life. Before we dive deep into these strategies, I want you to understand something crucial. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a messenger, a teacher, and sometimes even a gift. The goal isn't to eliminate pain from our lives. The goal is to develop such a powerful relationship with ourselves that we can experience pain without becoming pain, that we can face challenges without being defined by them. Let's begin with the first and perhaps most powerful strategy. The art of perspective shifting. This isn't just about positive thinking. It's about accessing a higher truth that exists beyond our immediate reactions to life's events. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful tapestry. When you stand very close, all you might see is a jumble of threads, some dark, some light, seemingly chaotic, and perhaps even ugly in places. But when you step back, you begin to see how every thread, every color, every seemingly random pattern contributes to creating something breathtakingly beautiful. This is exactly how life works. When we're caught in the middle of a painful situation, we're like someone standing too close to the tapestry, seeing only the chaos of the moment. But there's always a bigger picture, always a higher perspective available to us if we're willing to step back and look with different eyes. Let me share something profound with that. Every single experience you've ever had, every moment of pain, every disappointment, every setback, they're all threads in your tapestry. And just like a master weaver doesn't make mistakes, but incorporates every thread into the final design, the universe doesn't make mistakes either. Every experience is weaving something magnificent in your life, even if you can't see it yet. This isn't about denying the reality of your pain or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about expanding your awareness to hold both the pain and the possibility simultaneously. It's about understanding that while you might not be able to control what happens to you, you always have the power to control the meaning you give to what happens. When you begin to grasp this truth, really grasp it. Not just intellectually, but in your bones, that something remarkable happens. You start to view challenges differently. Instead of asking, you also have the power to interpret them in a way that brings you peace. But remember, this isn't about forcing yourself to find the positive in every situation immediately. Sometimes, the most powerful perspective shift is simply acknowledging that you don't yet understand the purpose of what's happening, but you're willing to remain open to the possibility that there is one. As we move through life with this expanded awareness, something miraculous begins to happen. The very things that once would have shattered us become the things that strengthen us. The challenges that would have broken us become the forces that forge us into something stronger, more resilient, more beautiful. This is the beginning of acting as if nothing can hurt you. Not because you become invulnerable, but because you've discovered that everything, absolutely everything, can be transformed through the power of perspective. You begin to understand that pain is not your enemy, but your ally in disguise, teaching you, shaping you, preparing you for something greater than you can. In the space between what happens to us and our response to it lies our greatest power. It's in this space that we can choose to view life through the lens of wisdom rather than reaction, through the eyes of possibility rather than limitation. This is where true transformation begins. Now, let's explore our second powerful strategy. The practice of mindful presence. This might sound simple, but within this practice lies a transformation so profound that it can completely alter how you experience every moment of your life. You see, most of our suffering doesn't come from what's actually happening in the present moment. It comes from our thoughts about what happened in the past or our fears about what might happen in the future. We carry our pain with us like a heavy backpack, dragging yesterday's hurts into today and tomorrow's worries into now. But what if I told you that real power, true, unshakable inner strength, exists only in this present moment? That in the actual now, most of our perceived problems don't exist. This isn't positive thinking or wishful philosophy. This is a fundamental truth about the nature of human consciousness and suffering. Have you ever noticed how in moments of pure presence, perhaps while watching a beautiful sunset, or during that first sip of morning coffee, or when you're completely absorbed in something you love, all your problems seem to disappear? It's not that they've actually gone away. It's that you've stepped into a space of such pure presence that there's no room for anything else. This is the power of mindful presence. It's not about escaping our problems or denying our pain. It's about accessing a state of consciousness where we can observe our experiences without being consumed by them. When we're truly present, we step out of the story our mind is telling us about our pain and into the reality of what is. Let me share a profound truth with you. Pain needs time to survive. It needs a past to draw from and a future to fear. But in the pure presence of now, pain has nowhere to take root. This is why mindfulness is not just a nice idea or a relaxation technique. It's a powerful tool for transformation. But how do we access this state of mindful presence, especially when we're in the midst of emotional turmoil? It begins with understanding that you are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, and you are not your pain. You are the awareness that observes all of these things. Think of your consciousness as the sky and your thoughts and emotions as the weather. The weather can be stormy, cloudy, or clear, but the sky itself remains unchanged, untouched, ever present. Your true nature is like that sky, vast, open, and unaffected by whatever is passing through it. This understanding isn't just philosophical, it's practical and transformative. When you begin to identify more with the awareness that observes your experiences rather than the experiences themselves, you discover an unshakable foundation of peace that exists within you at all times. The practice is simple, though not always easy. It begins with bringing your full attention to this present moment. Notice your breath, not trying to change it, just observing it. Feel the weight of your body, the sensation of air on your skin. This is your anchor to the present moment. When thoughts arise, and don't fight them. Don't try to push them away or judge them as good or bad. Simply observe them with the same detachment with which you might watch clouds passing across that vast open sky. Let them come, let them go. While you remain rooted in the awareness that watches it all, this practice becomes particularly powerful when we're facing emotional pain. Instead of immediately reacting to or trying to fix the pain, we learn to be present with it. We observe it with curiosity rather than resistance. Where do I feel this in my body? What sensations are present? What thoughts are arising? As you develop this discovered in the space of present awareness, this is how you begin to act as if nothing hurts you. Not because you become impervious to pain, but because you've discovered something within yourself that remains untouched by pain. You found that quiet center of your being that remains peaceful, even when the surface of your life is turbulent. Remember, this isn't about achieving some perfect state of constant presence. It's about developing the ability to return to presence again and again, especially in those moments when life challenges us most. Every time you catch yourself lost in thought or overwhelmed by emotion and choose to return to present awareness, you're strengthening this capacity. As we journey deeper into understanding how to move through life with unshakable strengths, we arrive at our third transformative strategy, the art of acceptance and letting go. This might be the most challenging practice we'll discuss today, but it's also potentially the most liberating. Many of us have been taught that acceptance means defeat, that letting go means giving up. But I'm here to tell you that true acceptance is one of the most powerful forces for transformation in the universe. It's not about resignation or defeat. It's about aligning yourself with the flow of life itself. Think about how much energy we spend fighting against what already is. We resist our circumstances, we resist our emotions, we resist other people's behaviors, we resist life itself, and in this resistance, we create our own suffering. It's like swimming against a powerful current, exhausting ourselves while getting nowhere. But what if there was another way? What if, instead of fighting against the current of life, we could learn to flow with it? This is what true acceptance teaches us. It shows us that our resistance to what is, not the situation itself, causes most of our suffering. We share something profound with you. Everything in the universe operates by the law of impermanence. Nothing stays the same forever. Not our joys, not our sorrows, not our challenges, not our triumphs. When we truly understand this, we begin to hold life differently. We stop clutching so tightly to what we want and pushing so hard against what we don't want. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of everything that happens. It doesn't mean you can't work to change things. It simply means you acknowledge the reality of what is right now in this moment. Because here's the truth. You cannot change what you refuse to. You cannot transform what you're unwilling to face. Think about how much of your pain comes from resisting what already is. The relationship that ended, the opportunity that didn't work out, the mistake you can't take back, the person who didn't meet your expectations. We carry these resistances like heavy stones, not realizing that we can choose to set them down at any moment. This is where the practice of letting go becomes so powerful. Letting go isn't something you do once it's something you practice moment by moment, day by day. It's about continuously releasing your grip on how you think things should be and opening yourself to how things actually are. Them completely. Give them permission to be there. And in that acceptance, something miraculous often happens. The emotions begin to transform. What you resist persists. What you embrace transforms. This isn't just a nice saying. It's a fundamental truth about how human consciousness works. When you stop fighting against your pain and instead bring acceptance to it, you often find that the pain begins to lose its grip on you. But let's be clear. Acceptance isn't passive. It's not about becoming a doormat or giving up on your dreams. It's about acknowledging what is so that you can respond from a place of wisdom rather than reaction. It's about choosing your battles wisely and understanding that not everything that happens requires your resistance. As you develop this practice of acceptance and letting go, you'll notice something remarkable. Life becomes lighter, not because your circumstances have necessarily changed, but because you've changed how you relate to them. You'll find yourself carrying less emotional baggage, less resentment, less resistance. This is another way we learn to act as if nothing hurts us. Not because we've become numb or stopped caring, but because we've learned to flow with life rather than fight against it. We've learned that acceptance doesn't mean approval, and letting go doesn't mean giving up. They mean freeing ourselves from the burden of resistance. And there's something beautiful about this practice. The more you accept, the more you let go, the more space you create in your life for joy, for peace, for new possibilities. It's like clearing out a cluttered room. Suddenly there's space to breathe, to move, to create something new. This practice requires courage. It requires trust. It requires a willingness to release our illusion of control and open ourselves to the wisdom of life itself. But the freedom it offers is worth every ounce of courage it demands. Every time you choose acceptance over resistance, every time you practice letting go instead of holding on, you're not just changing your response to a single situation, you're rewiring your entire relationship with life itself. We now arrive at our fourth transformative strategy, embracing the growth mindset. This practice has the power to completely revolutionize how you view challenges, setbacks, and even pain itself. It's about recognizing that every experience, especially the difficult ones, carries within it the seeds of extraordinary growth. Think about how a diamond is formed. It doesn't start out as something beautiful and precious. It begins as a lump of coal subjected to tremendous pressure and heat deep beneath the Earth's surface. Without that pressure, without that heat, the transformation would never occur. Your challenges, your pain, your difficulties, they are the pressure creating the diamond within you. The transformation only happens when we adopt the right perspective about our challenges, when we view them not as punishments or obstacles, But as opportunities for growth, everything changes. This is the essence of the growth mindset. The understanding that our abilities, our resilience, our capacity for joy and peace are not fixed traits, but qualities that can be developed through conscious effort. Every master was once a beginner. Every strong person was once weak. Every wise person was once foolish. The only difference between those who transform their lives and those who remain stuck is their relationship with challenge and difficulty. When you embrace a growth mindset, you stop seeing pain as something to avoid at all costs and start seeing it as valuable feedback. You begin to understand that discomfort is often a sign of expansion, that challenge is often an invitation to it. This shift in perspective changes everything. But let me be clear. Developing a growth mindset isn't about toxic positivity or denying the reality of your struggles. It's about understanding that struggle itself is part of the growth process. Just as a butterfly must struggle to emerge from its chrysalis. And that very struggle is what strengthens its wings. Our challenges are often precisely what we need to develop our strength. Think about the most significant growth experiences in your life. Weren't they usually connected to periods of difficulty or challenge? Didn't the greatest developments in your character often come from facing and moving through adversity? This is no coincidence. It's a fundamental pattern of human development. When you truly embrace this mindset, something remarkable happens. You stop being afraid of difficulty. You stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities. You develop what I call challenge hunger. See, an understanding that the things that test you are often the things that transform you. But how do we develop this mindset practically? It begins with the questions we ask ourselves when facing difficulty. Instead of, why is this happening to me? We ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, how can I avoid this pain? Fear becomes curiosity. Disappointment becomes motivation. Pain becomes wisdom. This isn't about denying these emotions. It's about learning to channel their energy in constructive ways. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of the growth mindset is how it changes our relationship with failure. When you truly understand that growth is the goal, failure becomes merely feedback. It becomes data, information, guidance, not a judgment of your worth or prediction of your future. Think about a child learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times, but we never call it failure. We recognize it as an essential part of the learning process. What if we could bring that same understanding to all our challenges? What if we could see every setback as simply another step in our development? This is how we begin to act as if nothing hurts us. Not because we've become invulnerable to pain, but because we've learned to see pain as part of our growth process. We understand that our challenges aren't happening to us, they're happening for us, contributing to our development in ways we might not yet understand. Every expert was once a beginner. Every teacher was once a student. Every strong person was once weak. The only difference is that they embraced their challenges as opportunities for growth rather than seeing them as obstacles to happiness. In embracing the growth mindset, we don't just change how we view our challenges. We change how we view ourselves. We begin to see ourselves not as fixed entities trying to avoid pain, but as evolving beings capable of transforming any experience into an opportunity for growth. As we reach our fifth and final transformative strategy, we arrive at what I consider the master key that unlocks all the others, the practice of self-mastery. This is where everything we've discussed comes together in a powerful synthesis that can permanently transform your relationship with pain and challenge. Self-mastery isn't about controlling every aspect of your life or suppressing your emotions. It's about developing such a deep relationship with yourself that you become unshakable in the face of life's storms. It's about understanding that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control who you become in response to what happens. Think about the ocean for a moment. On the surface, it can be turbulent, with waves crashing and storms raging, but deep beneath the surface, there's a stillness that remains undisturbed by whatever is happening above. This is the state of self-mastery we're aiming to develop, not by avoiding the storms of life, but by learning to access that deep, quiet place within ourselves regardless of external circumstances. This practice of self-mastery brings together everything we've explored. The power of perspective, the practice of mindful presence, the art of acceptance and letting go, and the growth mindset. It's about integrating these practices so deeply that they become not just something you do, but who you are. When you achieve this level of integration, something remarkable happens. You stop being at the mercy of external circumstances and start operating from a place of inner power. You develop what I call emotional sovereignty. They are not your enemies. They are not punishments. They are not signs that something has gone wrong. They are invitations. Invitations to grow, to evolve, to become more than you currently are. When you truly understand this, everything changes. You stop running from pain and start asking what it's trying to teach you. You stop resisting challenges and start welcoming them as opportunities for growth. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances and start seeing yourself as the author of your own transformation. This is how you begin to act as if nothing hurts you. Not because you've become numb, not because you've built walls around your heart, but because you've developed such deep inner strength that you can remain centered even when everything around you seems to be full. The goal isn't to avoid pain. That's impossible and unwise. The goal is to develop such deep inner resources that no pain can destroy your peace. No challenge can break your spirit. No circumstance can steal your power to choose your response. As we conclude our time together, I want to leave you with this final thought. You are far stronger than you know. Within you lies a power that's greater than any pain, any challenge, any difficulty you might face. This power isn't something you need to create. It's already there, waiting to be discovered and developed. Every time you choose perspective over reaction, presence over distraction, acceptance over resistance, growth over comfort, you strengthen this power. Every time you face a challenge and choose to learn from it rather than be defeated by it, you build this power. Every time you transform pain into wisdom, difficulty into strength, challenges into opportunities, you access this power. This is your birthright. Not to live a life free from pain, but to live a life so full of inner strengths that pain becomes just another step in your journey of growth and transformation. This is what it means to act as if nothing hurts you, to be so deeply connected to your own power that nothing can break your spirit. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to practice these principles. Every difficulty is a chance to strengthen these muscles. Every pain is an invitation to deepen your understanding of your own unlimited potential for growth and transformation. You have everything you need within you right now. The power you're seeking isn't somewhere out there. It's within you waiting to be awakened. Trust this truth. Live from this truth. Let it guide you through whatever challenges life presents. And remember, the goal isn't to reach some perfect state where nothing ever hurts you. The goal is to develop such deep inner resources that you can face whatever life brings with grace, wisdom, and unshakable strength. This is your journey. This is your path. This is your power. Take these practices. Use them. Live them. Let them transform you. And watch as you become someone who doesn't just survive life's challenges but thrives because of them. Someone who doesn't just endure pain but transforms it into power. Someone who doesn't just exist but truly lives fully, deeply, and with unshakable inner strength. The power is yours. The time is now. The journey begins with your next choice. Choose wisely. Choose consciously. Choose powerfully. And remember, you are far stronger than you know, and your greatest power lies not in avoiding life's challenges, but in how you choose to move through them. Thank you for sharing this journey of transformation with me. Now go forth and live from your power.